What's happening, everybody? Today we have a special guest on the show. We're going to talk a lot about real estate investing, kind of just what it feels like to punt your fears, legacy for himself and for his family. I don't want to go too far into where we're at now. We're going to start in the past a little bit, work into the present, and then talk about this legacy into the future. Hit pause right now.
Just real
On this and go look up. Yeah, for sure. And it's been so good. I mean, for me, like, it's important for me to learn, like, because I get super into something like full gas, and I learn, I'm like, that's amazing. And then something else will walk by, and I'm like, ooh, that. I want to learn that now. So that's been my kind of hustle since I was a kid, and I love it. What's happening, everybody? Today we have a good buddy of mine. He's in studio. He whooped my ass earlier today in the gym. He's a savage, and he owns an incredible gym. His backstory is off the charts, and I'm really excited to have him here in studio.
Glad to be here.
This is Matt Paz. Matt and I go way back. He's an LB guy, and I'm going to have Matt tell his story for a lot of reasons, but one of the biggest reasons is when you go back and you start to look at your past, and then you start to see where your life has maybe moved and turned and course corrected. That's the only real way to get perspective on like what you want, where you're going, where you're headed. Because if you just have your head down the whole time and you don't actually stop and look back, it's hard to really know where you were and then where you want to go. And your story is incredible. And he's going to post this picture on Monday of Fat Matt. That is awesome. So it's the before and after. It's the sick to healthy. It's the story that I really want him to dive into. So I'm not going to go too deep into it. I know his story. It's awesome. I'm going to let him tell it. Matt, so walk us back when, I don't know, when you were, let's start at 10. So you were a pretty normal kid. Walk us through from 10 to about like where you decided to start playing baseball at Long Beach State.
Okay, so first of all, thanks for having me on the show.
100%.
Stoked to be here and reconnect with Andy, Andy helped me a long time ago, maybe 6 years ago when I first started cycling. I'll get into that later, and he helped me there, and now he's helping me now again, just kind of.
Now he's helping me get not so out of shape.
So we're friends helping friends here. So 10 years old, athlete, normal kid, grew up in Stockton, California, Northern California. Played all the sports, loved playing sports, very active, great family life. Had a sister, very active, parents, very active. Dad was a PE coach. Mom was a junior college volleyball coach, and just always around sports. So that was my world. Every weekend, whether it be out the volleyball, courts, watching my sister play volleyball, running around as a little grom, just being active and playing baseball, obviously into my own sports as well. And that kind of, I started developing and getting better and better. And you go into high school, and now you're getting looked at by colleges. And
where did you feel like you were different than the other kids on your team? You're like, because there was a very definitive shift for me, especially in baseball. Like, I'm just better. Like, yeah. I'm a good baseball player.
Probably my freshman year.
Okay.
I knew I was good when, we had a pretty good baseball program where I grew up, and at the end of the year, the varsity coach had called me up to the varsity team. And it was a pretty big deal at the time, and I pitched, and I went out, and my first game at that level, I threw a one-hit shutout.
As a freshman?
As a freshman.
That's awesome.
And so from there on out, I knew at that point that this was the path I wanted to take. So baseball was obviously, I loved playing baseball as well as football. Football was I was good there too, and as a sophomore, the varsity coach called me up and said, "Hey, we want you to come play varsity football as a sophomore." And so I was up in the varsity for a little while, and then I realized they were terrible. So I said, put me back down. I want to go win again. So I went back down to the sophomores, and we won the championship. And then I played varsity football as well.
Nice.
So now I'm playing 2 sports at my junior year and senior year, and excelling in both. I had my garage. We had a pretty big garage, and it was a 3-car garage, and the whole back wall was for letters that I got from colleges.
Oh, that's cool.
And so I probably had 300 to 400 letters, just letters coming every day from colleges, wanting to let them know they were interested in me. So I would, staple them up. The whole garage wall got filled with all these letters, which was awesome. I thought it was the coolest thing.
It's a great feeling, right?
It is a great feeling. So, and to be honest with you, I had probably 75% more letters for football than I did for baseball.
Why do you think that was?
I was a good athlete, and so I think also because football, it's so much easier to give scholarships away.
There's just more of them.
Funding. There's 80 scholarships, so you can miss on a guy, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's so many to give away, so it's a lot easier to get. If you're an athlete and you're big and you're strong and you're athletic, you can get a scholarship.
Right.
You know what I mean? So baseball was a little harder. You only have 11.7 to spread out for the team.
That's right.
So, and again, if you know anything, if you have a kid that has been through this process, once you're at that level, everybody gets letters. Mm-hmm. The next step is the phone calls. You have back when I played, it was like June 1st, football programs will start calling you. You have to wait till a certain day.
Yep.
Then you start getting these phone calls, and that was awesome.
It's an exciting time for the family, right?
It's great. It's great. We already knew this because my sister went through this process. Right. She was a great athlete as well. Played volleyball, got a scholarship, the whole deal. So I could have gone Division I for football. But I thought I had a better chance of going professional in baseball.
Yep.
So
I have a very similar story where I was like, I'm going to be a 6-foot white guy. Like I was really good at football and really good at baseball. Mm-hmm. I liked both. Mm-hmm. I just knew I had a better shot at baseball.
Right. Exactly. I my first love was football, no question. Yep. But as far as professional, making a career out of this, I thought baseball was the path. And I almost went and played both in college. I had a couple colleges that I could have played both in, but
that's a lot.
It is a lot to take on. But Long Beach State, I went on my visit. I went on 2 visits for football and 2 for baseball, and I ended up going to Long Beach State. Okay, so I met Coach Dave Snow, who was the coach at the time. He was the Olympic coach, the Olympic pitching coach. I liked that. And then I read about how many players they sent to the major leagues and how many people got drafted off the team, and that was like, okay, this is kind of where I want to be. Right. I think I don't want to work. I don't. I want to play baseball.
I don't blame you. Playing baseball is awesome.
Right. So I decided to take the scholarship for baseball, and that led me here to Long Beach. And then I walked in as a freshman. I moved out of Stockton at the age of 18. Moved on down to Long Beach, California, and then I fell in love with Southern California.
So was it scary or exciting or a little bit of both? Because, that's home. That's familiar. You're kind of a superstar because you're like a high school, super athlete. And then you come to Long Beach, and you might know a few people, but maybe walk us through the transfer from, kind of like hometown hero to, freshman at this really great baseball school.
Well, there really wasn't a hometown hero. Stockton's a pretty big city.
It's a big city.
It's a pretty big city. I don't know if you know about Stockton. It's still one of the top 10 or 11 biggest cities in California. Yep. And it's got a port and everything. But anywho, so I was actually excited to get out there. Stockton's kind of a rough place. It is. There's I was excited to get out. Put it that way.
There's the good and the bad part of Stockton.
Sure. Right. So I was stoked, and yes, I didn't know anybody when I came to Long Beach. I didn't know one person. I drove down, met the coach. I said, "What do you want me to do?" So he put me in some teammate's house for a week because I couldn't get in the dorms yet, and I met a couple of the guys. And at that point, I was a little frightened because these guys were 21 years old, and I was 18 at the time, and I just didn't know anyone, and so I couldn't wait for the team to meet so I could meet some more friends.
Yep.
So then finally, we had that first meeting. Everyone meets, and then you get to meet the entire team. You get to meet guys, freshmen my age, because nobody when you're a senior wants to hang out with a freshman.
Nope.
And
It's just like high school.
It's
It's like
the same.
all over
It
again.
is. So I'm the 19-year-old. Who's this guy, 18 or 19? No, we can't go to the bars.
Yep.
So, yeah, I didn't have – that first week was kind of rough.
I bet. I bet.
So then, I met the team and got to know the guys, loved the teammates, and just was excited to get into school and see this. I mean, now that – you're talking about transition, going from my high school to – did you go to Long Beach State?
No, I went to Long Beach City, but my mom used to teach at Long Beach State, so I kind of grew up at both schools. I was at both schools a ton.
It's a huge
It's a big
school,
campus,
right?
yeah.
It's a big campus. So yeah, there's and then classrooms, you go from 30 kids to a lecture hall of 250 kids, and so that was a transition in itself, going from that to that, and having to hit all these classes, but the best thing was when you don't have to go to school on Fridays, because you can make your schedule. As an athlete, you get to go pick your schedule.
That's right.
So you get to go say, hey, I want Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays at this hour, as long as your classes work. And I don't want to go to school on Fridays.
Yep.
So that was awesome.
I had a very similar schedule. I was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, full gas. So I'd have a 5-day weekend every weekend, because I would peace out and go see my friends,
Right.
In San Diego, Santa Barbara, that whole vibe.
That's awesome.
Which was way too much fun.
Right. And Thursday night in college is like college night.
Good time.
Right. So that was awesome. And then, and then season starts. Now I'm definitely, or not season, sorry, practice and fall ball. And that's where I am the, small man on the totem pole at that point, because I have to go in there and prove myself.
That's right.
So I go and, meet the guys, and we're starting to play and practice, and I'm doing well. And I'm pitching well, and I'm working my ass off. And then that rolls into season, and they name me the Sunday starter. So basically, in college baseball, you have your Friday night starter, your Saturday night starter, and your Sunday night starter. And usually your Friday night is your best pitcher, your second best pitcher is your Saturday, and your third best, and then you have a closer. So those are your top 4 guys.
Yep.
And they didn't name me until a week before.
Right.
And I was named the starter that Sunday.
So do you think that was because there was almost no distractions because you were so young, and it was just head down baseball, right? Because there wasn't that many friends, and you really probably tried to prove yourself to, like all these guys that are older, right?
No, they were older.
Right. So do you think that was an advantage to be like the low man and having to prove yourself, or to come in as like the star? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I think it definitely I had just to be kind of like the sleeper story, so to speak. There's not a bunch of eyes on you. You just come and you just do your thing, and you just keep doing your thing, and you're
results.
Like, exactly.
Results.
Wow, this guy's doing well. This guy's doing well. This guy's doing well.
Yep.
And so, and then that was awesome. So, I was stoked to get that Sunday start, and then start my career at Long Beach State, and then, we could get into, if you want to transition to, sophomore year, junior year,
Yeah, let's just roll. Okay, so how was your freshman year? Like, from start to finish, was it like a 6? Was it a 7? Was it a 12? Like, was it just, a blow up year where like you did great, and then chicks and beer and like lay it out. What's the freshman year from, you drive down from Stockton is like, oh shit, I'm in college.
All right.
And then like the summer, which is all the way.
So first of all, that transition from having
freedom,
you go from living with your parents to going and living by yourself with a bunch of people your age, and women in the dorms, and there's girls your age, and no one tells you when to come home.
No parents.
There's your beer in your fridge whenever you want.
Crazy.
You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, this is awesome.
Yep.
There's a reason why they call the freshman 20, or the freshman 15.
Freshman 15. Yep. Pizza and beer.
Yeah, because there's no home cooked meals.
Nope.
And there's a lot of empty calories going in your body. A lot. So yeah, obviously I loved that. That was awesome. I always loved. I was a big partier in high school. I was always,
me too.
The man at the party, so to speak. Outspoken, the life of the party. And that was great. And then as I got comfortable, we rolled right into college with that.
Yep.
We didn't go to the bars yet, but we were at all any party, we were there. You know, me and my friends and my guys. And so the transition was awesome, and I enjoyed life to the fullest extent. The women were beautiful at Long Beach. I think at the time there was like, I don't know, 33,000 people at Long Beach State my freshman year, and I think there was like 18,000 women. So that's a good ratio.
That's a good numbers.
We had a lot of good women to pick from.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
It was fun.
it was a lot of fun.
I bet.
and then the fact that you're in the dorms and they're everywhere.
Nowhere to hide.
No.
Nowhere to hide.
We will find you.
We will find you. You're really cute. I will find you.
So again, there was a lot of drinking. I don't think there was it was, I think we were normal kids, you know.
Of course, it's your freshman
Yeah,
year. Like, you're
right.
out, you're partying, figuring it out, and you're an athlete. So did the beer and the women and drinking, the going out, did that really affect your game? Because when you're young, you're so resilient to that.
Right.
You're like, I can go out on
Right.
Friday, burn it down, and then go
Right.
pitch a one-hitter.
I don't think it was, you know, looking back, I don't think it was an issue. I don't think it caused me a problem quite yet.
Right.
You know, we'll get into that, but I don't think it had affected me yet. I was you're able to bounce back at a young age. You can stay out till 4 a.m. and be up at 7 and
Nothing. Like,
right,
you're
right.
nothing.
yeah.
I get it.
So that was awesome.
I remember.
And so yeah, I don't think it affected my play or my performance yet. I had a great, I don't know, somehow my freshman year I got like a 3.7. I don't know how. Yeah. But that didn't last. So just don't think I'm a scholar athlete. That did not last too long.
Yeah.
So anywho, so freshman. So as I told you, I was a freshman and I started and I had my first. I think I got a win that first against. We were the number 2 team in the country, but mind you,
Yep.
we were the number 2 team in America.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had a great recruiting class. We had some stud athletes, and then my second start, we were up at Cal. My family came to watch me. Had a bunch of people there. And I got shelled.
Ooh.
I got lit up. I didn't even make it out of the second inning.
Oh, shit.
And the coach put me on the bench. And I didn't see the field for 6 weeks or 7 weeks.
That's a long time.
When you're a freshman, you don't get many chances. My chance was I went it. I pitched my first game, got a W. I get a W. Well, I did okay.
Mm-hmm.
Second start, not so good.
Mm-hmm.
See you later.
You're going to go sit and think about it for a little while.
Exactly. Basically is what happened.
Yep, I get it.
So then they put me in on some in the relief down the road, you know, and then that summer in summer ball. So when the season's over, for your top pitchers, for your top performers, or people you have, for the coaches who think they're going to develop, they'll send you to 2 leagues. There's the Alaska League. And then there's the Cape Cod. Have you seen the movies about the Cape Cod League and stuff like that? You heard about it.
Mm-hmm.
So usually they send your freshman, like me, I was just finishing my freshman year, to Alaska. And you go play in this Alaskan League, which is awesome. Alaska in the summer is beautiful. There is sunlight all the time.
All day.
You almost feel like I hadn't done any drugs, like I hadn't done any drugs yet, but you feel like a druggie, even though I don't know. I imagine that's what it feels like, because you're up all the time. Like, whoa, It's 3 and it's still light out.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And there's strip clubs everywhere in this place, and
Just perfect for a college athlete.
it was great.
Like, it's
It was
just
great.
That's a playbook.
And then I went and got to pitch more. Now I had more opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like you F up one time and you're on the pine.
That's right.
But I went out and I dealt. I had a very strong summer league. We went to this championship league somewhere else in Wichita, but I kind of made a name for myself there. And then I went and started the next year at Long Beach State and pitched I was a Saturday starter the next year.
Nice.
So I started every Saturday. Matter of fact, I started every Saturday, all the time, and started out. We had not a great year, but I still had a decent year.
Okay.
And then my junior year. So my junior year, I was a Friday night starter now.
Nice. So that's a really good progression. So you went from Sunday as a freshman,
Mm-hmm.
you went to Saturday as a sophomore, and now your junior year, like, that's the spot.
I was like our Friday night. I was our ace.
Yeah, that's right.
So at that point, and I was a workhorse. You could throw me. I'd love to pitch. I love to compete.
You're still like that.
I'm still like that.
Yep.
I am a competitive motherfucker.
Yeah, well, you have to be.
Right. You have to be. So the coach pitched me Friday night, and then we'd have this midweek games against some good. In Southern California, there's really good programs all around you. You have USC, you have UCLA, there's just colleges all around.
It's a baseball mecca.
It is.
Yep.
So your midweek games, you're still playing some tough competition. So you usually have how baseball works in college. You have a weekend series: Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. And like I said, you throw your Friday night guy, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday. There's your top 3 guys, and then you have a midweek game, and you throw one of your 4th best pitcher, or you throw a bunch of guys and try to get a W because your weekends are tough.
You're saving everybody's arm.
Exactly.
Yep.
So, but we had such a tough schedule. The coach was like, "Oh, we got SC coming on
Wednesday." Right.
So he'd pitched me on Friday. Said, "Hey Matt, can you come off a short rest and start on Wednesday for me?" And yeah, I'll do it. Let's go.
Who needs an elbow?
Right.
Cool.
Right. So then I'd go pitch, and then and you'd have to have 4 days rest. So then I'd pitch on. So I kind of pitched. I started out Friday guy. But then we needed some wins, so we started pitching me on Tuesday nights. And then I'd come back on Sunday, and then I'd come back on. I got used a lot.
Right.
And then come time, we made the playoffs, and it's regionals. And now my elbow's shot.
Of course.
My arm's tired. So I get some
recovery is important.
Pitching, yes. So I went and got shot up by a doctor, get some cortisone.
Nice.
And I ended up pitching, and that probably wasn't the best idea. And then that leads to a surgery the next year.
Yep.
Okay, so I was dating somebody at the time who had surgery as well, right around the same time I did.
And you're 21? No, you're 20?
I'm 21 now.
21 now, right? Okay.
And so what when you have surgery, you get these pills.
Yep.
And I think I got Percocet at the time. And
that's what they usually give athletes.
Right. So, and then she had some Percocets, and so I was finished with mine. She didn't like hers. We're both on I'm got my elbow, she had her knee. And I said, let me get those. She didn't like them. They didn't agree with her.
Right, because some people, they get sick.
Right,
and
exactly.
They hate them.
Right.
My wife's the same way. She hates them.
Right. And I
Don't.
fell in love with them. It was like, oh, this is the greatest thing on earth. I would, after I had a big bottle, I, got a refill on them. And, pretty soon I was just like, we'd go to the movies and I'd take a couple of them, feeling great,
Mm-hmm.
And then the pills ran out, and that was that.
Yep.
That was the end of that story. Never had any more pills ever.
Mm-hmm.
But the drinking, always drinking. So I'm going to tell you a story about something that happened after I came back, okay, where this is my 5th year at Long Beach State. We're at Baylor. And again, still a big partier.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of knew I had a drinking problem, but it wasn't like, it was like, this is what I love to do.
You always know.
Yeah, right.
But you're not going to look at it quite yet.
No, not even close.
And like the one thing with pills, like just to circle back, because we've covered this topic a lot on this show with a lot of different athletes and went pro and everything else. Like those pills take away all the pain. Not just your physical pain. Like it's all of it. Right. Emotional, physical, spiritual, mental.
You're a whole different person.
All gone.
Yep.
And then it's very cool like in the beginning because you're like, well, I don't have to drink that much. I can just have a couple of these and I actually feel better. So you start playing these games with yourself of like what will actually work and don't work.
Right.
And then at some point, it snowballs.
Oh, big time.
Right.
It took me a while. Yeah. I got to have a lot of years. But so back to Baylor. So we're at Baylor and somebody, and I don't even think I'm able to pitch. I think I'm still hurt. But for some reason, they took me with them. And so, well, sweet. I get to go to their state and party.
I get to go party at Baylor.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Sign me up, coach.
So I end up, somebody else got hurt and they had some pills. I took some more pills and I'm drinking. And we get some Captain Morgan back to the room and I'm getting drunk and high off these pills. And the next day, I always worked out. I always was a worker outer. There's no question about it. I loved that. So the next day, I wanted to run to the field. The team took a bus to the field. I said, "Hey, coach, I want to run to the field. I want to run this out. I want to sweat. I want to, okay, coach." It wasn't abnormal for me to fine,
do that.
Go ahead. So I ran. I don't know how far it was, but I ran to the field. And then in the middle of the game, 3rd inning, my heart started getting like weird palpitations in it.
Yep, irregular heartbeat.
Right, and I said, "Hey, the trainer, hey, I don't feel right. Something's going on," and he was taking my heart rate, and everyone's like, "What the fuck's wrong with Paz? What's wrong with Paz?"
Mm-hmm.
Before I shit you not, before you know it, they shut the game down. The ambulance came and took me away, and now
And you're not playing.
I'm not playing.
Just so we're clear.
Just this fucking guy in the dugout.
He's on the bench, just making sure the game's cool. But they shut it down for Paz.
They took me away in the ambulance.
Yeah.
And I went to the hospital while the game carried on. So now I'm at the hospital, which, mind you, I think you could take an online course and be a doctor in Baylor, in Waco.
Yes.
I don't.
For sure. And it's really hard for your team to focus on the game when one of their homies just left in the ambulance.
Right.
So, team player.
Right. So now, and then you have a scheduled flight. So now we're supposed to fly out. The whole bus comes to pick me up at the hospital. They wouldn't release me. They ended up releasing me. We almost missed our flight, all because I wanted to take some pills and fucking drink.
Yep.
And then so I was like, wow, that was awesome. So
Team player.
But getting back to the whole partying at college and me, I'm going to circle back to my Friday night starter days, most players don't party Thursday nights if they're going to pitch Friday. I still partied.
Makes sense.
For some reason I had, what happened? Baseball is so superstitious. We are
Off the charts.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, for just about 15 years, I was behind home plate. I was a catcher. I would literally put my pads on the same way.
Oh, yeah.
If I didn't, I had to go back to the dugout, redo it, and go back.
Right.
That's one of a million scenarios I can tell you about.
It's crazy.
I get it.
So, for some reason, I got drunk one night and pitched the next day and had a great game. So I'm like, well, this is what you do every night.
This works every time
right.
now.
Right. So
you just gave yourself a green light to go party on Thursdays. I got it.
And everyone's like, aren't you pitching tomorrow? I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's party.
Remember last time when I crushed it?
Right. So that's not really normal you should have a little more discipline when you're playing in a top
at that level.
At that level, and you're ranked in the country, but not me. So, anyways, I had those pills those went away again, and then you get done playing baseball. I got drafted when I was sitting. My senior year, I got drafted, but at that point, I knew my elbow was not going to come back after surgery. I knew it, and I didn't want to sit in the minor leagues for 10 years.
Yep,
I just didn't want to.
Mm-hmm. Smart.
And so I didn't sign, and I came back for my 5th year and pitched here and there, nothing to talk about, and then baseball was over.
So let's pause at that process, because that's a big deal for a kid. That's a big deal for a kid who started playing baseball when he's 5. His dream is to go pro. Like we all had those dreams, right? Mm-hmm. If you're playing baseball and you're a kid and you played more than 3 years, it's crossed your mind like, I could be a professional baseball player. Mm-hmm. I love this.
Absolutely.
And then you put in all the work. You actually get signed, but you know in your heart of hearts that your elbows can't cut it.
Right.
And it's probably going to get worse before it gets better. So you're going to punt your dreams. You've been literally thinking about every inning since you were probably 6 to go back and play your 5th year, to basically just have some more time to party.
Exactly.
Right. What did that feel like?
It didn't feel like anything.
You just numbed.
It didn't even cross my mind.
Really?
Those dreams hadn't even vanished yet. Because, again, we're not even thinking straight.
Right.
Every year the drinking starts to pick up a little more.
Right. So that was my next question. So at that time, you're drinking every day or pretty close to? Because if you're drinking Thursday before you're going to start, you might have a Monday, Tuesday off.
Monday margaritas. Tuesday booze day. I mean, there's a day.
I get it. So you're pretty much 6 days a week.
At least.
At least,
yes.
right? Okay.
Now, so the drinking progressed, and baseball's now over, and what are you going to do? Like I said, my parents were teachers, so they kind of installed in me teaching is a good route to go. You got the retirement, you got the summers off.
It's safe.
It's safe.
It's
exactly.
Safe. And parents want their kids to be safe.
Right.
Even though it might not be the best advice, they want them safe regardless.
And again, I didn't even think about what I wanted to do, but I was just, okay, let's go that route. Mm-hmm. So I was in a kinesiology major, and somehow pulled that out.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So and then I start taking my teaching credential classes, get my teaching credential, and then now, of course, I don't want to use my teaching credential yet. That's a real job. That's like a grown-up job.
Mm-hmm.
So I get in the restaurant business and start being a busboy at a local restaurant called Duke's in Huntington Beach.
That's a good place to start.
It is.
It's a
great spot. Yeah. So I had fun there, and then I got a job at Chili's as a server.
Chili's.
Baby back ribs.
Baby back ribs.
So then that leads, and then I got this cool. Okay, so listen to this. So then there was a guy. This is a trip. There was a guy that was a grad assistant baseball coach that had a job as a door guy for Shannon's Bayshore.
I've been there once or twice.
His name is Brandon Hyde. Brandon Hyde just got hired as the Baltimore Orioles manager. So he's in the big leagues right now as the manager for the Orioles, which is kind of a cool story.
No way.
So I called Brandon up, said, "Hey, Brandon, can you get me a job at Shannon's?"
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Yeah, I can get you a job at Shannon's." So he made the connection. I get a job at Shannon's.
It's a really cool bar in Long Beach, and that's the thing. Like, it's this really cool, small, narrow Irish bar on a very popular street in Long Beach. It has a bunch of restaurants, college kids. And if you're a Long Beach State baseball player, you would drink beers at AI, and then you would drink at Shannon's. Like that. It's like kind of like a rite of passage.
Well, there was a rotation. It was AI, Shannon's, get a little more, because AI was beer and wine.
Beer and wine only. It was like pool and some games and just kind of fuck around a little bit.
Let's go get a hammered at Shannon's, get a couple shoot the roots.
And shots at Shannon's, and then go back to AI.
And then we go to Belmont Station and
then go to Station.
Right.
It's the only place you can dance on all the Second Street.
Exactly.
I get it.
So we went to Belmont Station, and then who knows where you end up, and hopefully
that's right.
Well, you know what I mean.
Hopefully you're home at 5 in the morning.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Walking somewhere.
So I got the job at Shannon's, and then so I'm door guy / bar back, and it was a mix. You half the time you were at the door, half the time you were behind the bar. You and your buddy switched back and forth.
Yep.
I love being in the bar, talking to people. I was a people person. Loved
the action is
right. Exactly. Lots of fights at this bar. Love that.
Yep. Tons.
It was awesome. It was a great fit. I had a career, dream job, door guy.
I've probably been there 1,000 times.
You have been there.
Yeah.
So you talking about the perfect scenario. Now I'm in this bar that serves hard alcohol. I get to drink for free. I get to fight, and there's lots of women. And everyone loves a guy that works at Shannon's.
Yep.
Or everyone loves a guy behind the bar, period.
That's right.
All girls.
Free drinks.
Exactly. So after about like 9 months, I asked the bartenders how much they were making. I was making $100 a night, which isn't bad money.
They're making $400 to $500.
They're making $400 to $500 a night. And I'm like, what the fuck? I need to get behind that bar and serve some drinks.
That's right.
So what happened was, I asked one of the bartenders to say, hey, can you start? I'm going to come an hour early. Can you start training me how to serve drinks and do this? I'll be off the clock, but I need to learn how to do this. Mm-hmm. So I trained for 6 months. I don't know. And then one time, one of our bartenders,
someone called in sick.
He actually went to jail. Didn't make it to
it's
work.
Shannon's. It makes sense.
Didn't make it to work.
Yep.
I said, hey, Big John, hey, Sean's in jail.
Yeah, Big John, that's right.
Right.
Yep.
See, hey, Big John, Sean's in jail. I can do this. I've been training. I've been coming in early. I can do it. All right, go ahead, Matt. I went back there, had my day. Talking about Friday night starter. I'm in the big show here.
I was going to say, like, you didn't get your shot in the big leagues, but you got your shot behind the bar, son.
Yes. And this is a very, like you said, it's a very popular bar.
Very.
I mean, so you are busy as a bartender.
Like, there's a line every night.
Absolutely, every night.
Every night.
So I did well. We made a lot of money, and John says, you know what, Matt, you're no longer a barback. You're a bartender now. And then I got a couple shifts, and then then I started making good money. That was good money to me. $4,000 or $5,000 in cash.
Oh, yeah,
for
it's
the
like
month.
$40,000 a year, $50,000 a year.
A little more than that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. Yep.
So I loved that, and then you make a name, and then everyone knows you. What happens is you. So if Andy, if you worked over at Belmont Station and you come into my bar, I'm gonna slide you some free drinks.
That's right.
I got you.
Yep.
And so everyone wanted to come to my bar because it was awesome.
It was the bar.
Wherever I went, there's no line for me. There was free drinks for me. Whatever. It was just like the perfect place for me to be.
So it was like you were a professional baseball player.
It was the second best thing.
But you weren't.
It was the second best thing.
That's perfect.
You could either be a professional baseball player, a rock star, or a bartender at Shannon's.
That's right. And you got Shannon's.
Exactly. And, I lived it up.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're working at Shannon's, I worked 3-4 nights a week, and you drink every night. There is no real rules at Shannon's. As an employee, there's
Correct.
no rules.
That's right.
You can do if you want to have an after-hours party, you have an after-hours party.
Of course.
We had people there 3, 4, 5 in the morning.
It's encouraged.
It is encouraged. It was awesome.
And you can go upstairs in the stock room where all the booze is.
There's a lot of things you can do. How'd you even know about that?
I know a lot about that place, actually.
Jeez. We got to talk about this off the air.
As soon as I hit stop, we shall.
So, where am I going with this? So now I'm like 1-2 years into this job, which career for me. I loved it. I was at home, and again, you're working 4 nights a week drinking because that's what you do. That really, honestly, was encouraged. You want to drink with the patrons and have a good, it's a party. It's a big party back there.
Yep. Everybody makes more money.
And then you're off 3 nights a week. Well, I'm not going to sit at home. I'm going to go out.
I'm going to go to the station. I'm going to go to all the bars
that I can get free drinks at.
That's right.
So I go out and I party, and now you're literally drinking 7 nights a week. And that's just the lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I did for a lot of time, for many years. And then somehow, some way, somebody tipped me in some pills. They gave me, here, I don't, here, try these, Matt, or whatever. Here's some of these. Oh, all right, sweet.
I remember these.
These
take it all away.
I remember how it felt.
That's right.
And it changed me.
I bet.
So I started taking the pills, and then I started wanting them more and more again. So what happened is you take them for 2, 3, 4 weeks, and then you don't have them anymore. And I didn't know this, but I would start to feel sick.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, why am I feeling sick? So I'd go through that process, and then I'd get some more. It was opiates. I get some more pills, and then I'd start partying again. And then I realized when I came off those pills, I was dope sick.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want it. And dope sick, I was in the infant stages of really being dope sick. So it wasn't really that bad yet, but it wasn't comfortable.
Mm.
So I wanted more pills. And that led to a whole nother monster. The alcohol was a problem. There's no question.
Yep.
That was definitely a problem. But then you integrate these into my life.
Because you're messing with all of the hormone levels, as I'm sure you know now, is like you're messing with serotonin levels are probably at damn near zero most of the time. So you have to drink to feel something.
Oh, yeah.
Because your pleasure zone is torched.
Right.
And then you're taking this gnarly narcotic that stops the receptors from even firing.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome when you're partying.
Right. Oh, great.
Not so awesome the next day or when you're trying to figure out life.
Right. Oh, yeah. I mean, you're confused and you wake up. So you don't know where you're at. It's just a whole different level of partying. Mm-hmm. So I was on these pills. They were Norcos, the 1,000 milligrams, and they were great. And I got them all the time. It became they were involved in my life where I had to have them every day.
Yep.
They ran my life. Where am I going to get my next bag of pills?
Yep.
So, and at that, when I'm fully immersed in that addiction, I was fully addicted after a year of it. You know what I mean? Not only does 1 or 2 pills a day not cut it, I was taking 3 to 4 to 5 at a time.
There's a buddy of mine, and I saw this once, and it blew my mind, and I'm sure you can relate. He'd been taking pills for so long, he took 8 of those 1,000 milligram Norcos and 4 Somas, and he called them a happy meal.
Yep.
And I drove around with him because he was actually dope sick, and he was trying to get these pills from this pharmacy. Mm-hmm. He's a really good buddy of mine. He was going through it. And when we finally got him what he needed, the amount he put in his hand and then actually took would have killed me.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like, he's a little dude. He was not big. I was so impressed.
Yeah, it was cool, right?
By his tolerance.
Yeah.
Like, how do you, like, it was, like, dude.
It was crazy. I've seen it. Yeah.
It was fascinating how the human body can tolerate that level of opiate.
Right. Totally. I saw a guy eat 20 at a time. And I wasn't, I saw it. And not only, when you're like dope sick like that, not only you don't even take the pills. You want them to work faster, so you eat them.
He chewed them up.
You eat them.
Yeah.
You break them down yourselves in your mouth.
With a fucking Red Bull, bro.
Yeah. Oh, even better. So yes.
Because he told me that the caffeine gets it into your system faster.
Whatever.
Whatever,
yeah.
bro.
Whatever. We're insane.
He was fully in his addiction, and so were you.
Yes. 100%.
I get it.
So not only am I taking 3, 4, 5 at a time, but then in 4 hours that high is gone, and you got to do it again. So you're on this 20 to 30 pill a day habit. Well, now my income isn't.
We got like $5 a pill, $3 a pill.
$5 is at the high, but they,
Right.
when they weren't there, you're paying
You're
$5.
paying whatever, yeah.
You're paying whatever. So you're paying almost $100 a day for these fucking pills.
Wow.
So that's insane to me. So pretty soon, I ran out of money. So then I thought it was a good idea to be friends with a drug dealer. And
Of course, that makes sense.
yeah, I mean, we're hanging out all the time. And I'm not going to say his name, but he was my buddy.
Of course.
We were all, I mean, and so when I wasn't working, he would pick me up at 11 or 10 and we'd go drive around LA and sell drugs. And he would sell everything, but I would just go make these drops as long as he can throw me some pills. I'd go with him and be his road dog.
Of course.
And so that happened for I don't know how long. So I was pretty good at not getting dope sick because at that point, when you're dope sick, you're fucked. You can't move. It starts, you get the shits, you get the fever, you start breaking out. I mean, it's the worst. Coming off opiates is terrible.
And anybody that's done it
knows how awful it is. And you'll do anything to get what you need to feel better.
Yep.
So it was like you don't ever want to feel that pain. So I had like 4 or 5 drug dealers just in case this one didn't have any at the time.
Well, because just in case someone goes on vacation,
Right.
you're not trying to be out.
Or someone goes to jail.
Or jail, right?
Who knows?
Which is like kind of vacation.
So I am fully immersed. This is an addiction, and I'm drinking. Obviously, that is not stopping. So it gets so bad to where I lose my job at Shannon's.
Which is really hard to do.
It is.
You got to be
is.
a shitbag.
So I was a shitbag. I was an asshole
Right.
shitbag, and I had changed. I was
You went from a dirtbag to a shitbag.
exactly
Because that's what the Long Beach State baseball team is called, the dirtbag.
yes,
That's
and, and I'm proud of
I'm
it.
very proud of it. So, dirtbag to shitbag.
So
Continue.
so I am. Where am I at right now?
You have 5 drug dealers.
Yes.
The one that you would.
Oh, I
around
lost
Los
my
Angeles.
job. No, I
Oh
lost
yeah,
my job.
sorry, you lost your job.
I lost my job. So now it's so what am I gonna do? I have a teaching credential. So let's fucking get a job teaching.
Let's go teach some kids.
Yeah, why not?
Let's roll.
So I get a job teaching, which is fucking scary, and I start and I got a job as a PE teacher at a school called Narbonne in LA, and so I'm teaching there for 3 years. I get my hair all grown out like a fucking pig, and yeah, it was just and so here's where I started to realize the last year of my drinking and drugging was the kids at the school, a couple of them would say, "Mr. Paz, you smell like alcohol. Have you been drinking?"
Oh my god, dude.
It was like, and I would never drink before school or never, ever, never.
Right, but it's still
It's
all up
still
in your system.
in me because even when I got fired from Shannon's, my routine was go to school, get out at 2:45, race to the fucking bar where they still love me over there. I'm still in tight with them.
Yep.
So I drink as much as I can. They had some bullshit, and I mean bullshit, like happy hour fake food there for people.
It is fake food. Yep.
And that was my dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd stay there and drink Jack and Coke. And then I'd leave early because I had to teach the next day. So I'd leave at like 6, go to the liquor store, get a big bottle of some white wine, drink that
So
to
you're
pass
a
out.
sugar machine.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you just wait till you guys see this picture.
It's awesome.
I would drink the full big, not a regular bottle, like the big Magnum. Can you even call it? Is it a Magnum bottle?
It's a Magnum. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a 3 liter.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's
okay.
a Magnum.
So yeah, I drink that, and then I'm out by 10. I figured if I had 10 till 6, I could sleep this thing off, but I wasn't fooling anybody. It was still in my system.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I rolled. I would literally, and mind you, I'm still taking pills, and I have to now. What I did do was I had to take pills with me to school because I had to wake up and take a couple pills.
Of course, because you get sick at school.
Because when you're sleeping, there's 8 hours right there where you're not having any pills.
Mm-hmm. So you wake up.
You have to have pills. You just have to. So I popped 2 pills, 3 pills, and I'm going to school. And then I had to have always 2 or 3. You didn't want to get high at school, but you just wanted to get enough.
You want to not get sick.
Not get dope sick, right? So I just maintain. And when there's times that sometimes you don't have the pills. And now I'm feeling sick at school. I'm sweating. Get me the fuck out of here. It was just a crazy, vicious circle that I lived. And then So I realized there's a problem when the kids started smelling alcohol on me.
Yep.
And I didn't know what to do. And so, you know, at that point in my life, I told you I was always active before.
Mm-hmm.
The last 2 years, I didn't step foot in a gym.
Zero.
Didn't do anything active whatsoever. I lost control of the ability to do what I loved, which is still be an athlete. And even though I couldn't play baseball, those a couple 3 years when I first worked at Shannon's, we would play beach soccer. I'd go play indoor.
Because it was still social. You weren't fully in your addiction yet, where it literally had a hold of you.
Right.
It was still social-ish.
Mm-hmm.
So in those last 2 years, looking back, were you in like a deep depression and didn't know it, or were you just like in survival mode?
I was in survival mode.
Okay.
I didn't know. And then, so, and my body changed and my face was, but your
face changed, bro.
I literally, I had a beard. I grew a beard just so I thought it would cover up how fat my face was.
It was actually a chin strap.
It was a chin strap. And you didn't, thank God I had it because you wouldn't even know where I had a chin.
That's right.
Because
I was
the same issue so fat. So, I was in that addiction and didn't know what to do. Literally had no clue how to stop.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, and like I said, alcohol was always king alcohol. I loved alcohol. The pills sped up everything. I mean, it fast forwarded everything.
Right. So if you have like 3 glasses of wine, it's like you had 8.
Right.
That's right.
And so, and you know what? And I want to say one thing. Thank God I took pills.
I know, right?
Because you know why? Here's why. If I didn't take pills, I might still be drinking. Because the pills ruined me. They fucking had me by the balls.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was about getting pills. I was still an alcoholic, but the pills dropped me to my knees.
That's right.
They owned me.
That's good, though.
If I didn't have that pill addiction, I still could be drinking to this day. I don't know.
And you would look awesome.
I'd still
you
be
would
fat.
look so awesome.
So I am very thankful that pills are in my they were in my
path.
Yes, exactly.
But that's part of your journey.
Right,
like it was literally part of your path. Like I'm such a firm believer in like we sign up for this shit. Like you started drinking the pills. Like this is all part of your journey.
Mm-hmm.
Like to get to where you're at now.
Everything happens for a reason.
Dude, 100%. Without the booze, without the pills, you would not be where you're at today.
Not even
close.
A chance. Not even close. Oh, there's so many. We'll get into it. There's so many things that I told you. You know that my triathlon career and what I've done. There's so many things that I'll share with you later of what made me such a good triathlete and what makes me so good on the
addicts are the fucking best. I tell people all the time, like if you can turn that addict brain into entrepreneurship, into super athlete. Do you know how many articles I've read about these ex-tweakers becoming like gnarly Kona?
Right.
It's you just move like all
you obsess.
You obsess
because you obsessed on the pills and how to get them, and you obsess on working out.
You obsess with everything.
Right.
Like I don't care what it is.
Totally.
If I like it, I built a podcasting studio in my office because I had a podcast. Like I didn't need to, but like I'm an obsessive person.
Totally.
Always have been. Guess what? Always am going to be.
Right.
It's where I put my energy.
Right.
Good or bad.
Right.
It's up to me.
Right.
Well, okay. So how did you stop?
How did I stop? So after trying to kick the pills, I went to my doctor and I said, hey, I told him I was addicted to these pills. So he gave me a pill called Suboxone.
Suboxone, yep.
And it's an opiate blocker. So, and so I took the pills and that worked. I didn't have to take any more pills anymore. And it saved me money. And then, so you get off. So finally, and Suboxone is you take like 3 or 4 and you take a half and you take a quarter and you wean off the Suboxone. Well, when I started weaning off, as soon as I had no more Suboxone in my system, I started getting dope sick. I started throwing up. I started getting just almost seizing up. It was like I had to kick that.
Right. So like it wasn't mental where like you were having like a panic attack because you were only down to a couple pills and it was literally in your brain. You were having physical withdrawals.
Right.
Okay.
And that was tough. And you know what? After finally getting off the Suboxone, I was pill free.
Cool.
I still drank. Still love to drink. Still got hammered all day, all night.
Of course.
But after a month, I went back to the bar, and there was my buddy, the drug dealer who I used to roll around with.
Yeah, the pill dog.
Wow, I'm bellied up next to him, hanging out, and he just says, "Hey man, here's you want a couple pills?" And how dumb am I? I didn't even think twice. I fucking popped 2 pills.
Of course, dude. Our subconscious is powerful.
I mean, I just told myself I will never. I can't take pills. I'm a fucking pill popper. I can't do it
because it hadn't got bad enough. It wasn't
Apparently
bad
not.
enough yet. Right.
But when I'm withdrawing, and I'm finishing it, I'll never do it again.
Of course.
But you get a month.
It's like barfing in the toilet from drinking. You're like, I'll never drink it again.
Right. Same thing. You forget.
5 p.m. Happy hour.
And so and then here we go. And another few months go by, and I'm fucking back to the same me. A nightmare, a wreck, a train wreck. So December 4th, my friend's getting married in Irvine. It's an all-day deal. We get there at 10, and we start drinking. And it's in Irvine, right? So I am drunk at the wedding on pills, and I need to get back to Long Beach. And I lived right across the street from Shannon's.
Yep.
Right on the same street, Santa Ana. Right across the street. So I was like, I need to get home. I just need to get home, and I need to get to Shannon's and have I don't know why I wanted to go to Shannon's.
Because you were too far from home.
Right.
You didn't like the way that felt.
I didn't feel comfortable. I was not in my little bubble.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a little bubble in Belmont Shores, and I felt safe over there.
Because it was very familiar.
Right. So I get in my car, and I'm drunk. I've been drinking all day, hard alcohol, drunk. As soon as I get on the freeway, I'm like, oh shit,
I'm super
what
drunk.
am I doing?
Yep.
I'm literally driving with one eye.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, I said, oh my God, please get pulled over. Please get a DUI.
Somebody
go to
save
jail.
me, right?
I want to go to jail.
Yep.
That'll stop this.
Yep.
Once I go to jail, I'll sit there, I'll sober up, and I can change my life. So that's my crazy ass thinking is I wanted to get a DUI. I wanted to go to jail, and I wanted to stop it. So I made it. Somehow I made it back. One-eyed it all the way home, and I fucking made it to last call, and I drank. And then the next day we did it again.
Yep.
So and then, but I'm still not the same person. I'm still like am ready to quit. Don't know how. I don't know how to quit. Even though that night I wanted to quit, I don't know how to quit.
You didn't have the tools.
No tools.
You didn't have someone to call. Like you literally were just like,
right.
All right, well fuck, I'll just keep going.
Right. Exactly. So I called my family, my sister, and said, hey, I need to go to a rehab. I need to you need to take me away, to lock me up and fucking put me right.
Yep.
And so my mom and my sister, I said, hey, and by the way, don't fucking do it anywhere around here, because I'll have somebody pick me up and fucking get me out of here.
Yeah, give me in the middle of nowhere.
Right. Get me out of here. So we went way back up north. So they found somebody. They found this camp called Camp Recovery. And we went way up north in the Santa Cruz Mountains. Bitchin' place.
It's beautiful up
there.
there.
Oh, it's beautiful. So
some really good wines made up there.
So I'm drinking. So now I have a date. We're checking in on December 20th.
So you're going hard until then.
Well, we're going.
Yeah.
So I'm getting my buddies. And you know what? And for me, I know I'm pretty disciplined, even in my drinking. You know what I mean? So I knew that once I stopped, I think I fucking would have a pretty high success rate of stopping. So I was literally thinking like, all right, boys, let's go meet up. This is one of our last nights. So we took the boys out, we went into Mahi and had some shots and said bye to the bartender. Like, you know what I mean?
Never going to see you again, bro.
You know what I mean?
No.
So
I'm going to go eat celery later.
So we go up north. My buddy takes me, my best friend drives me up north. Takes me to my parents' house, and mind you, I'm at my parents' house now. I'm still on the pills, still fucking taking them every day, every 3-4 hours. And that night I stole one of my parents had a surgery. I am still in there. They had some bullshit Vicodins. So you have Vicodins like 350s, 500s, and 1000s, and the 350s have a lot of acetaminophen. Yeah.
Mhm.
So those are terrible for your liver. But so I'm taking like 10 of those just to feel like
Something.
You're right. And it's so bad for you. So I was taking those my last night because I was out of pills now. I'm just trying to get to the rehab place. That night I had that morning I woke up December 20th. It's the day I'm supposed to go. I'm drinking Jameson for breakfast. Doing whatever I can to get a little buzz on. This is really it.
Right, because the shakes start coming.
Exactly, the
Yep.
shakes. Yep, you know. So
I do.
it's time to go. It's a 2.5 hour drive. So we're an hour into the drive. I go, hey, I need to get something to drink, or I don't know what I said. I need to go to the bathroom. And we pulled over and we went to I don't know a 7-Eleven or something. I go, I need to go to the bathroom. What I did is I went and grabbed a big tall boy.
I was gonna say, tall boy, fix that problem real quick.
Ran into the bathroom, slammed it. And then they took me to the rehab that day. I think we had some cries and signed me up. And then I checked myself into rehab. And that was December 20th. So my sober date is actually December 21st because I wasn't sober at the time.
Right. All because of the tall boy.
Right. Well, no, but I had Jameson in the morning too.
Oh, that's right.
So
was it a 30-day program?
it was supposed to be a 30-day program, right? So I'm in this rehab. And first of all, because I had the experience with the Suboxone, they said, okay, so we're gonna get you this, and this. You're gonna take these Suboxone pills because they tell them you have to tell them what you take.
Everything.
You tell them everything, right? And so they wanted to put me there. Like, this will help you with this. I go, hey guys, fuck that. You know what I mean? I don't want shit. Let me suffer. I'll deal with it. I don't want to be on this because then I'm going to come off this shit. I've already played this game.
Right.
I want this to be over. I don't want to have any chemicals in my fucking body.
Right.
Don't give me shit.
But they still have to watch you and monitor you. So
Don't let me die.
Right. Just don't let me die. Exactly.
So they said, are you sure? I said, fuck yeah, I'm sure. Let's go.
Mhm.
So I go in my little room and they had a 24-hour nurse on me all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So for 3 fucking days, I sat in that bed. And you've seen the movies. You've seen the movies.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't no fucking different than the people laying in their bed in the fetal position, sweating and just fucking having crazy nightmares and just like going through the worst time. I mean, you talking about pain.
Mm-hmm.
There is no worse pain than kicking all this shit I was on. I was on so much. I didn't even get to the Xanax I was on for 2 years and this other antidepressant that fucking I was on just a bunch of shit.
Just make it all go away.
Right. So 3 days, I don't even know what the fuck happened in those 3 days. I was so foggy.
So it's like a 3-day detox, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I go, my head cleared after 3 days, and I said I need to start working out. I go, you can't work out until a week.
Right.
Well, fuck, I missed it, but my head is clear now. But I wanted to work out, so every morning at 5 before the light was even out, I would sneak out, and there's this big long hill, and I'd start running these fucking hills, and that was the beginning.
Hill repeats.
Yeah, I did. That was my beginning, and I only did like 3 or 4, but each day I added 1.
Yep.
And that was the beginning of my journey into getting back healthy.
It's a comeback.
It was the comeback. And so then, and again, I wanted to be successful. So I did whatever they told me to do. I did whatever. You had counselors, you had this.
So you were all in.
I was all in.
You're like, I'm getting better.
Yeah.
Like this is it for me.
This is it.
Yep.
So I met with my counselor, and then, so what happens is the insurance company, they call the counselors and say, hey, how's this guy doing? Because they're paying fucking $15,000 for you to go to this rehab, which they're not happy about.
Nope.
So, he's doing great. He's doing awesome, blah, blah, blah. Well, I was doing so great, they kicked me out. Okay. So they're like, oh, he's doing good. Okay, get him out. We're not paying for it anymore. I'm like, well, I'm not paying for it. I'm not fucking paying all this money.
That's so shady.
So at day 18, they kicked me out. And mind you, everyone's like tripping out because I'm in this rehab and there's very few people. I got sober. This is how bad I wanted to get sober. I got sober on December 21st. Well, guess what December 24th and 5th is? It's Christmas Eve and Christmas. I'm now away from my family. I am fucking in a rehab facility with these people I don't even know, away from home.
That's good though, because you need that.
Oh, it was so good.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Yeah.
And it's just you
and your fucking head
and my head and these people who
and what you've done.
Right. And it's like, wow, it's like it was just such an eye opener. It was a crazy experience.
Because you're like, I don't relate here with these people, but part of me does.
But you hear, because you have meetings in there and you hear everyone. And this, literally, there's like someone that you would see off of the side. I mean, some really crazy looking people in rehab.
I get it.
And you would, at first glance, you're like, what the fuck am I doing next to this guy? And then you hear his story and you hear a piece of his story.
Those parallels. Yep.
And they're like, whoa, we are kind of the same. I can relate to that.
Yep.
He just went down a different path, and he just had, he was a little more or less fortunate. Didn't you know what I
Same
mean?
result. You're both there.
Right. So 18, I was actually happy to get out of there because I was ready to go. I missed everybody. I wanted to start my new healthy life, and they tell you to go to an outpatient program. I went to outpatient. And they told me to go AA, and then I called my buddy Chuck Lopez, who was sober like 1 year. They said you need to find a sponsor. So I said, hey Chuck, can you be my sponsor? He's like, sure. So I got with Chuck. He introduced me to this place called Thursdays, which is in Sunset Beach. I
remember Thursdays.
It's a AA group, right? So they told me, you get in there, and they said, go to 90 meetings in 90 days. That's like the success rate of somebody
is really high
coming off of all that stuff. And if you do 90 meetings in 90 days, you have the success rate of staying sober is much greater.
Yep.
And I'm a numbers guy. Okay, if my numbers are, if you tell me I have a greater chance
I'm doing it.
of doing this and staying sober, let's do it.
That's right.
So I'm doing 2-3 meetings a day. I now have, am I teaching? Yeah, I'm still teaching. But this is also the time when teachers are getting pink slipped. So
because they were cutting your guys' hours.
Exactly.
That's right. Okay.
So I get pink slipped. I no longer have a job. Now have no job, but I'm sober, going to all these meetings with all this time.
So that's your new job.
It is my new job.
I get it.
And then I signed up for a marathon. As soon as I got out, I signed up for a marathon. Okay, so what are we gonna do? How do I train for a marathon? I had no idea what I was doing.
Go run, Forrest.
Right? Seriously. So people are like, you better do like a half marathon first or something. So I signed up for this 15K, which is 9 miles. And it was on the 4th of July. And I'm in AA doing 90 meetings in 90 days. And I'm going through the steps. And on, I think it's I've been out of AA for a while. I think this 12th step is something spiritual happens to you. And I'm in the middle of this run, and the clouds are it's an overcast day. It's the 4th of July. I've been training for my run, and it's like mile 6, and the clouds open up, and the fucking sun comes through, and I just start bawling, fucking crying.
It's the best.
Dude, I was just like crying my eyes out, running my ass off.
Like I'm not dead.
And like, this is my spiritual awakening. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And it felt alive, bro. Like, it was the most insane feeling I've ever felt.
And you feel like you're not alone.
No.
Right?
Man,
like the first time you're like, fuck, I'm not by myself.
Right. It was just like, and I'm with these people that are all healthy and running. I'm like, this is.
And it's the 4th of July when you would have been already pissed drunk by the time you even did that run.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, right. And then we also got to run on in Coronado Island, where all these Navy SEALs, buds training, and just badass. You know what I mean? So I had that experience, and that was like, it was just like overwhelming with tears of joy. Finished the race. So now it's time for a half marathon. Did my half marathon, and then so what happens with running? Running's kind of like pitching. You can only pitch so many times because your arm gets sore. You can only run.
You got to recover, right?
So much. Because your legs get tired. I was 220 or 30 pounds at the time. I had slimmed down because I had shed all the
water and sugar and crap in your system.
Right. So just 18 days from there, I shrunk down to a normal person.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and now I'm starting to get in shape. And so, but your legs can't handle the volume of all the running, especially for a guy my size.
The weight and the volume.
Right.
Yep.
So, my buddy Mike, who owns a restaurant down in Long Beach on 2nd Street, Riley's, he was like, hey, let's go swim. Because he had done a triathlon. I thought that was kind of cool. So he's like, let's go swim in the bay. I'm like, sweet. So we go for a swim. And I immediately just went. And he was like, I went back. And then he's like way back there. He's like, fuck, Matt, you're a fucking great swimmer. I was like, really? He's like, yeah. He's like, we need to get you a bike. So he's like, all right, give me a bike. So we borrowed a bike, and I started riding a bike. And he's like, you're fucking pretty decent, pretty decent cyclist.
I remember.
So he's like, all right. So I go, well, what's next? Sign me up for triathlon.
It's like crack.
Right.
It's the
So
greatest.
I signed up for a triathlon, and your buddy, and then I got in with these people. I don't know if I had met you yet or not, but Ramen was there, and he was a stud, just a good athlete and triathlon,
athlete,
right, swim, bike, run athlete. So I start training with these people that are better than me, which is what you want to do to get better, to find out how to get faster, and so we go to this race. Ramen ends up winning his age group, and there's called a division called Clydesdale.
Yeah, no,
Right.
That's where I started.
Right, exactly.
I was a big dude too.
Right. So I started in the Clydesdale division. I took second. I thought that was awesome.
That is awesome.
So, and then I get hooked. I'm fucking hooked on track. At that second place, I'm like, oh, this is awesome.
Dude, I did the same thing.
I'm gonna win I'm gonna be the best Clydesdale in the world. I'm gonna be whatever it takes. So
I was the same way. I went from a sprint triathlon to signing up for Ironman. I'm like, I'm all in.
let's go. The biggest. We're going to Kona. So I didn't even know what Kona was at the time. So then I thought, now I'm online watching these triathlons, and I see Kona. I see the fucking world championships.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, whoa, that's where I need to be.
Yep.
I want to go there. It is like you could see
the Super Bowl of all that.
If you go to Google Kona, and they're gonna have this amazing clip, like a minute clip on these athletes, and it's just
you're in tears.
It's great.
It's
these great stories, right?
Yep.
I want to go to Kona. You talk about an obsession. So my next race was I went from I didn't go quite to the Ironman, but I went from sprint to a half Ironman,
mm-hmm.
which is 1.2 mile swim, 56 mile bike, and a half marathon.
Yeah, it's 12 or 14 miles.
13.1 miles.
13.1. That's right.
So it was a very challenging half Ironman, and I took second in the Clydesdale division.
Nice.
And I'm 200 and probably 15, 20 pounds. No, probably 220. So I'm like, sweet. So I'm like, I can, if I took second in this half Ironman, I'm ready to qualify right now. I'm like, mind you, I'm like 4 months sober, 5 months sober.
Mm-hmm.
So I still don't know. So I Google, I'm like, what do I need to do to get to Kona in Clydesdale division? And I talked to my buddy, like, hey, how do I get there? Like, oh, there is no Clydesdale division. Wait, what? There's no Clydesdale division. And well, that's bullshit. What about the big guys?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Prejudice against big dudes.
Oh my God. So my dreams, I'm like, oh fuck, are you serious? How am I gonna? So I kept grinding, and then I did it, and then I trained with Ramen. Then I met you, and we start cycling, and you know Andy and Ramen were so much better than me. But I just you either hold on for dear life, and you quit, or you fucking hold on for dear life and get better.
That's right.
So
and you did.
And I just kept getting better. I wanted to keep riding. Let's go. When are we going next time? Let's go again. You know. So I finally signed up for and then again slowly started dropping weight, and now I'm probably down to 205 pounds, and I'm like I look like a decent.
He looks like
athlete.
an athlete. Yeah.
Right. Not a triathlete.
No.
By any means.
But they're tall and skinny.
Right.
That's a very different build. We definitely didn't fit the mold.
No, I mean, so I was looking at an athlete, but not a triathlete. So I entered the Louisville Ironman, the real deal. No, I'm sorry, I didn't. I got a coach. I did enter the Louisville Ironman, which was in Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
It was in August, which is hotter than shit.
And humid as fuck.
Right?
Yep.
And my coach, I go, hey, there's this Ironman in Napa. Should I do it as a trial run just to kind of feel the distance?
Like a warm up? Yeah.
Right. He's like, yes, that's a great idea. So I did. This is a new series. It's called a HITS series.
Mm-hmm.
And have you heard of HITS, the HITS triathlon series? Yeah, they're all over. And so this one was in Napa, and it was brand new. The HITS series just came out. And so I entered it, and I raced it, and I fucking won overall. I won first place overall.
That's right.
And there was a guy by the name of the Cowboy, the Iron Cowboy, who I beat.
Oh, yeah.
I beat him.
Oh,
and
cool.
if you follow the Iron Cowboy, he just did like maybe a year and a half ago, 50 Ironman in 50 days.
Yeah, he was on my buddy's show. He's a beast.
He's an animal.
Yeah. And his wife had his back, and they had kids.
Yes,
and he was traveling.
yes.
His story's insane.
Incredible.
Yep.
Right. So I'm racing. And
he was a crazy person too. Like
crazy. Yeah. And he's running with his cowboy hat on, and I'm like, I'm in front somehow. I don't know what happened, but I'm in front of this race, and I didn't know who he was until after. I was like, that's the Iron Cowboy. Yep. And so he has an incredible story as well. Like I said, he just did for kids' obesity. He literally did 50 Ironman in 50 days in 50 different states. Mm-hmm. So that's insane.
No recovery.
I mean, no, he crashed twice on his bike because he fell asleep at the wheel.
Yep.
Crashed.
Yep.
So, it's insane. So I ended up winning that race. Again, that race, there wasn't that much competition. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like there wasn't any pros there. There wasn't any, because everybody wants to go to Kona. So you couldn't qualify for that race. It wasn't involved with the Ironman.
Right.
There was no involvement.
But it was good for your confidence.
Exactly. Oh, great. Yeah.
Half the battle with all this endurance stuff is telling your brain.
Yeah, your mental.
I got it.
Right.
I'm going to tell my body to fuck off, and I don't care. I'll suffer more when I'm done, but I'm going to get there.
Right. So I had a good race. I did an 11:30 or something, which on that course was great because it was gnarly. It was still the gnarliest Ironman I've ever done, or race for that matter. And I've done some I got into this triathlon pretty deep. And so I had a good race, and then 4 months later is Louisville. And we go, and I had a great swim. And now I'm out on the bike. And mind you, I still had no idea what I could do.
He's a really strong cyclist. He was really, really good on the bike.
We get on the bike, and I'm fucking on this course, and there's no one around me.
Flying.
I'm like, where is everybody? Because you have the pros.
Behind you.
You have the pros go, and then the field goes.
Right, like the regular folk.
Right. So I am out. I'm like, because usually you can just follow the person in front of you. You just follow the fucking people.
Yep.
Well, I was a pretty fucking good swimmer too. Mm-hmm. So I'm out in this course with I don't even know if I'm going the right way, but I just stayed the course. Mm-hmm. And now I start passing these women who are pro women. Mm-hmm. So I have I'm fucking hammering this bike. Mm-hmm. And in triathlon, you're supposed to, this is going to sound crazy. If you're competitive and going for a spot, and pros do it and competitive triathletes do it, you should never stop.
Ever.
So 112 miles is a long time.
You piss on your bike.
So that's exactly what I'm getting to.
It dries. It's chill.
You're supposed to relieve yourself on the bike.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm going in mile 80. I never had to go pee. So I'm in, which is a problem. I was
going to say, which means your nutrition is off.
Which is exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I get to the T2, which is transition 2.
Yeah.
And there's no bikes there, which is a good thing because that means I'm fucking, and I hear him say, oh, here comes third place. I'm in fucking third place. And this is the fucking real deal here.
Yeah. You're trying to qualify.
Right. And I'm like, oh my God, this is going to happen. And I go out and run a 6-minute mile. I'm like, whoa. This is slow the fuck down.
You have a marathon ahead of you, son.
Right. But you're so jacked up.
I get it, dude. I get it. I remember.
So, anyways, at mile 16, I swear a German Shepherd came on the course and took a chunk out of my hamstring. I didn't see a German Shepherd, but I felt like it happened.
It was a bear. It was
might have been
a brown bear.
Okay, in Kentucky.
In Kentucky. Watch out for those Kentucky brown bears. They are a bitch on the course.
I mean, I've never felt pain like I felt, and that fucking bear bit me in my leg, and I was limping the whole rest of the way home.
Yep.
I took 10th, and I had I think I did a 10:05, and I needed in Ironman, trying to get to Kona, you don't know. It's not about you have to place a certain time like Boston qualifier. You have to do a 3:05.
Right.
You have to place in your age group to get to Kona.
Yep.
So I took 10th, and I needed to take 5th.
And you're on pace to crush 5th.
I was on a great clip, and but you live and learn. That's my first real Ironman, and then once that happened, obsession. Mm-hmm. Obsession.
It's probably like the best defeat that could have ever happened to you.
It was great, and Andy, I'm telling you, when I was I was obsessed. So nothing mattered to me.
I didn't work when I was doing it. Like I literally stopped working.
Awesome. You gotta be better. You gotta get faster.
I had a coach.
Yeah.
I remember.
Your coach was actually still my bike fitter.
Oh yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm so obsessed with this sport, and coming back to the mental part of Ironman, it's such a mental game.
Like 90%.
There were so many times when you want to quit. I mean, Even on the swim is the easiest part. It's 2.4 miles. It's like an hour.
For you.
Yeah, but right.
I fucking hated the swim.
But
I was a pretty good swimmer, and I was just like, give me the fucking bike.
I still was over it after like 40 minutes. I'm like, get me out of this fucking water. I'm so over it. And I'm on the bike ride. After 80 miles, I'm down this crotch. My back is just fucking killing me. And you're like, you don't want to get up because air's gonna hit you and you're gonna be out of your arrow.
Down.
Right. So it's like there's so many mental games.
But it's cool because you still have a marathon to run.
It's awesome because you're like, exactly. So you get off this fucking bike and now you got to run a marathon.
Yep.
Okay. So you talk about mental games, how many times you want to quit and how many times you just want to, why did I sign up? I asked myself, why am I doing this so many fucking times?
I've asked myself that in training, like not even race day. Just like, that's it.
You're right. Andy, you are so right. After all my years training, so the marathon race is the easy part. It sounds ridiculous because it's still hard.
But mentally, you're closer to the end. Yes. Yeah, no, I get
the
it.
training to be competitive. You have the people that do it that want to go out and do an Ironman, and that's great, and they're one and done. And their training is a lot different than a competitive triathlete. When you are a competitive triathlete, you are training close to what a pro trains like.
Yep.
Your training is out of control, and you are required a lot from your body. So that mental training is insane if you are going to compete. So what led me to be a good triathlete is every time I started suffering on the bike or the run in my training or in a race, I would go back to that hospital bed.
Yep.
When I'm fucking kicking the drugs with no help from the other drugs that they wanted to put me on.
Where would you rather be?
Exactly.
I get it.
You know what I mean? That helped me so much in my career because I would always go back to that place. Always go back.
And you always have it now for the rest of your life.
Forever.
Dude, those pain points are so incredibly powerful.
I was in so many dark places, and you can go to those places whenever you're having a fucked up day, and nothing is as bad as that, ever. There's no pain. You can't be anywhere in life that's worse than where your bottom was. Wherever that bottom was, if you have recovered, go back there. Because you're going to...
Go hang out and remind yourself.
Exactly.
Yep.
So, I mean, I can sit here and talk to you 5 hours about triathlon, how much I loved it, and it changed my life, and it saved my life because it gave me a reason to continue to stay sober.
It did, and that's a huge part of this whole show and this whole message. And this might be a really good place for us to stop for session 1, because from this point forward, it starts to look a little bit different for you. And then we really start to go in a very different direction.
Right.
Even though it's still health and it's still triathlon, I want to save that for round 2 because wait till you guys hear what happens next.
Right.
You do not want to miss this. We'll see you guys next time. Matt.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother.